Halloween is the time of year when the line between the world of the living and the supernatural becomes blurry. When all manner of ghouls, ghosts, and goblins come out to prey on us puny humans. You might be surprised to find out that the ancient Egyptians had something very similar. Hi everyone, I'm an Egyptologist. I answer your ancient Egypt questions. The last 5 days of every year were considered particularly dangerous. As Egyptologist Martin Raven put it, the whole of Egypt succumbed to a kind of national hysteria. The ancient Egyptian calendar consisted of 12 months of 30 days, adding up to 360 days. But the ancient Egyptians knew that the year was, in fact, 365 days long. So to make up for this, 5 days called intercalary or epagomenal days were added at the end of the year. What the ancient Egyptians didn't know about is that the year is, in fact, 365.25 days long. To see how this affected their calendars, check out this video. Ancient Egyptian papyri inscribed with calendars of lucky and unlucky days say that nothing should be done during these 5 days, that are ominously described as the days of the demons. Because these 5 days at the end of the year were additional, they weren't normal days. They lay outside the normal passage of time. During these liminal days, the barrier between our world and that of the supernatural was thin indeed. The days of the demons wasn't just a poetic name. Literal demons were believed to come out at the end of the year and kill people. Now, picture the setting. It is the height of Egyptian summer. It is stiflingly hot. The Nile is at its lowest level. The annual flood that made agriculture and life possible in what would otherwise be inhospitable desert should be coming soon. But you don't know that. In the meantime, the granaries are running dangerously low. The time is ripe for disease, and indeed, a phenomenon took place at this time that the ancient Egyptians ominously called the plague of the year. The ancient Egyptians, like everyone else before modern times, had no knowledge of microbes, bacteria, or viruses. If you got sick, it meant that you were attacked by a demon. These eponymous fiends of the demon days were considered the messengers of Sekhmet, the fierce lioness goddess of war and epidemics, whose very name means the powerful one. During this liminal period, with the blurring of the barrier between our world and that of the gods and demons, Sekhmet's agents set out to strike down unsuspecting mortals. Humans weren't defenseless, though. They could call upon the very power who was bringing down disease upon them. After all, who better to call off the agents causing disease than their own boss, Sekhmet herself? In this light, the lioness goes from attacker to using her ferocity to protect. A papyrus from the National Museum of Antiquities in Leiden preserves the words to be recited in the making of an amulet to protect yourself during the 5 epagomenal days. It reads, "Hail to you, gods there, murderers who stand in waiting upon Sekhmet, who have come forth from the Eye of Re, messengers everywhere present in the districts, who bring about slaughtering, who create uproar, who hurry through the land, who shoot their arrows from their mouths, who see from afar. Be on your way, be distant from me. Go on, you. I shall not go along with you. You shall have no power over me. You shall not give me to your authority. You shall not throw your net over me in order to catch me for your slaughtering. You shall not surrender me to any bad misfortune of this year, for I am Re, who appears in his eye. I have arisen as Sekhmet. I have arisen as Wadjet. For I am Atum, who protects his head. I am Atum, who sojourns in the two lands. I am Atum in the temple, the Lord of mankind, who made the gods, the Lord of slaughtering, who created the respect for him. For I am that powerful one, lofty and high. This same papyrus also gives specific instructions on how to make this amulet. It reads, "Words to be said over a piece of fine linen. These gods are to be drawn on it, and it is to be fitted with 12 knots. To offer to them bread, beer, and burning incense. To be applied to a man's throat. A means to save a man from the plague of the year. An enemy will have no power over him. A means to placate the gods in the retinue of Sekhmet and Thoth. Words to be said by a man from the last day until the opening day of the year, on the Wak festival and at daybreak of the Renenutet festival. To be applied to a man's throat means that this amulet was to be tied around your neck, a very vulnerable part of your body. After all, demons could afflict you by entering through your eyes, ears, and nostrils, and the neck was, pardon the pun, the perfect choke point for stopping them from gaining access to the rest of your body. Fascinatingly, a set of 5 linen bandages of just this type, and which must have been used on the epagomenal days, are on display in the collection of the National Museum of Antiquities in Leiden too. And the opening of the year, mentioned near the end of the instructions, is the ancient Egyptian word for New Year's Day, because it opens the new year. Now, once you hit New Year's Day, the worst of it is over. The barrier separating the two worlds solidifies again, and we are back into the normal passage of time. Meanwhile, in the temples, the priests and the king have been conducting all the rituals that had to be performed correctly. And the annual flood came on time as a result. Not too high, not too low, and agriculture is possible again. On New Year's Day, people across Egypt are rejoicing and giving each other gifts of amulets in the form of statuettes of the goddess Sekhmet and other related deities like the cat or lioness goddess Bastet. As you may have noticed, these New Year's celebrations share similarities with our own. But their context, though, is more akin to Halloween. So what do you think? Could there be a connection, no matter how indirect, between all these celebrations? Or is it that us humans all share so many of the same experiences, so it is only logical that there are similarities between seemingly separate celebrations across cultures across time? Or maybe it's a combination of the two. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for listening, and Happy Halloween!